Time for another Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast, and this time we're talking with Erin Bustin, who is Executive Director of the Grinnell School of Music. And last time I spoke with her, man, I'll tell you, it was just before they were getting ready to open the Grinnell School of Music. In fact, when I did my first interview with anything going on with Grinnell, it was with Erin, and it was just before they were getting ready to open the Grinnell School of Music. They were working on the building. They were painting and hammering nails into the building, getting everything ready to go for their ribbon cutting. And they've come a long way in their first year at Grinnell School of Music. It's a nonprofit organization, and we'll tell you all about it and see how far they've come in the last year. So hang on for that in just a few moments. Our big presenting sponsor for anything going on in Grinnell is Grinnell State Bank, and they want you to know about their holiday hours. Christmas Eve, they close at 12 p.m. on Wednesday, December 24th. Christmas Day, of course, they're closed. And any transactions after closing Wednesday, December 24th will post to your account on Friday, December 26th. New Year's Eve, the lobby will be open until 12 p.m. The drive-up will be open until 3 p.m. on Wednesday, December 21st. New Year's Day, of course, they're closed also. And they want you to know about their convenient locations that they have at Grinnell State Bank, too. They're all over the place in Grinnell, Johnston, Marengo, and Polk City. And, of course, they're celebrating over 100 years now in their Grinnell location. Grinnell State Bank, stop on by. And again, they sponsored over now one year of sponsorship to the Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast, because they want you to know what's going on in Grinnell. And of course, they're a big sponsor of the Grinnell School of Music too. So thank you to the Jones family and all the folks at Grinnell State Bank. Want to thank B. Nicole Salon, providing a prize every Sunday morning for Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast trivia. Lori Kramer was our latest winner, and she not only won a free haircut, but she won a free pedicure too. And they have Everlasting Vivids by Brandy. She says on her Facebook page, did you know that there are some permanent vivid colors out there? They're violet, magenta, and berry, and they melt together so well, and you can tell the color shift when within the hair from indoor lighting to outdoor lighting. So much fun, and she has some great pictures on her Facebook page of that also. Very, very pretty at B. Nicole Salon in downtown Grinnell, right next to the Chamber of Commerce. And also Saints Rest Coffee House. They give away every Sunday morning those monster delicious cookies. Stop on by at Saint Rest Coffee House, and they have a video of Sam Cox and 4 council members being sworn in at the city council meeting. Not only the 4 council members, but 1 police officer. And they say congratulations to all from Saints Rest Coffee House in downtown Grinnell. Time for another Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast, and we're with Erin Bustin of the Grinnell School of Music. And boy, it's been over a year since I chatted with Erin, and I was recommended to talk to Erin very first time because Kelsey McCauley is with Grinnell State Bank, and she said, you know, there's this new entity within the community called Grinnell School of Music, and it's a nonprofit organization, and you need to find out about that. And it turned out that Erin was my very first interview about Grinnell School of Music, and when I came in, there was painting going on, and there was hammering, and there was all this stuff. And I don't think, Erin, you'd even had your ribbon cutting yet.
No, I think you're right. We were still under construction.
And now it's been over a year, and I thought, by golly, I need to get caught up with Erin, because I drive by this building all the time when I do my podcasts. It's been over a year for me. So we've done quite a few podcasts, and Grinnell State Bank is my big sponsor. They've re-upped for another year. And I thought, what the heck? I need to revisit this place and find out what's going on. Before we find out what has happened in the last year, maybe we can refresh the memory of our listeners and find out the mission of the Grinnell School of Music.
Well, thank you, Jamie. We are a community music school. So we strive to offer music lessons, but also various other programs. We offer the Grinnell School of Music. We offer the Grinnell Children's Choir. We offer drop-in programs and events. Just a lot of different programs, all oriented around getting people of all ages involved in music. You mentioned that we are a nonprofit. So we relied, substantially on donors and sponsors to get this building done. And then our nonprofit mission continues in terms of accessibility, both regional and financial. So just by existing, we are making music lessons more accessible in this area for people who would otherwise perhaps have to drive to Des Moines or Iowa City to access some of our programs. We're making them more accessible by having more of an online presence. So folks who don't know a piano teacher can Google one and find us. And also in terms of financial accessibility, obviously there are massive financial implications simply for having to drive to Des Moines or Iowa City, but also the cost of music lessons themselves. So while we publish and list a market rate for all of our programs, we also offer a pay what you can option. That means that essentially when someone contacts us for a program or lesson, we say, here's what it costs us to keep this going and to meet our costs. But we never want the ability to pay for that to be a barrier to participation. So if that is too much for your family, we ask folks to just reflect on what is a feasible amount for them. And then we are committed to doing everything we can to meet that gap by raising funds to our scholarship fund so that, every family's what they're able to invest in music ed, in music lessons is going to be different. And we really want we want to be able to provide our programs regardless of what that investment might be on their end.
Where did you get the idea for this?
There are other programs like this elsewhere, certainly. The pay what you can or the meeting financial need model, honestly, it echoes a little bit of Grinnell College's commitment, right, to need blind assessment. Certainly, as somebody who's lived in this community and met with students who otherwise wouldn't be able to go to Grinnell College without its incredible tuition assistance, I really loved that philosophy, and our board generously agreed that if we could do that, that would be it. So the financial aid piece came from just wanting to make this as accessible as possible. The idea for the music school itself came from the fact that I was teaching voice lessons kind of on an ad hoc basis. I had started as a private voice lesson studio, and people would come up to me and say, hey, do you know someone who teaches clarinet? Do you know someone who teaches voice? Or anyone else? Or people who teach? And I would have to say often, kind of, but they're in Des Moines or Iowa City, or yeah, I have a friend who would teach piano lessons, but, they're not set up to do that at their home. And so the idea was born to create a space in which local musicians could offer their services, thereby giving them an employment opportunity or a work opportunity to teach in the area, and also giving folks access to those professionals who are working and living here.
That is fantastic. It really is. Now, how long did it take you to get this off the ground, Erin? Because you've got quite a list of contributors. I'm out there in your lobby looking at your wall. I know it had to take some time.
It did, but it also came very fast thanks to this amazing, we have an incredible community. Your listeners know Grinnell is a pretty special place. So we opened as Studio E in 2021. And that was, again, my private voice studio. And at the time, I was thinking, well, I will do voice lessons. I worked with a friend, Julie Bai, who's been here since day one with me teaching piano. And at the time, I thought, we need to establish whether this is viable as a, business before we can get a board and do a campaign. And then it really happened all very quickly. So in 2021, as we were starting Studio E, I was also, talking to community members. Do you think that this is something that our community could sustain in terms of students and payment for our programs as well as donations?
So the community said yes.
Absolutely, yeah. So we were officially incorporated in 2022. We got our nonprofit status in May of 23, and we opened our doors in September of 24. So it happened really fast. And again, I think that's thanks to a really enthusiastic response from our students, but also from the community at every level.
Okay, so I need to ask you what has happened in the last year. Obviously, you got the paint on the walls. You've got everything decorated. We're nearing Christmas, and everything looks great. I went to your website. You've got quite a variety of teachers and quite a variety of different lessons that you give. Tell us about those.
Well, yeah, I mean, as you said, we're in the building. That's a huge accomplishment. We have operated a full year of programs here. So now we kind of are getting the feel for things and for what is really popular and what isn't as popular and all of those things. We have I can't remember exactly how many. I believe we have 14 instructors who teach or would teach if some of them are on parental leave or things like that. But 14 instructors that work with us, a variety of instruments and styles. We offer obviously private music lessons. I think what everyone imagines, right, is piano lessons or voice lessons or one-on-one teacher student. But we also offer group classes. So we have Music Together has been a really popular core program of ours, and that is a music and movement class for parents and children ages 0 to 5, singing and dancing and playing with their caregivers. It's a really amazing experience. We also introduced what's called Mini Keys and Jam Band 101, which are songwriting and exploration band programs for children ages 4 to 8, which allow kids in that age bracket to explore sort of the fundamentals of music. So rhythm, melody, harmony, and they add songwriting in that program. This is a curriculum that we actually are one of the few schools across the country to license from the Brooklyn Music Factory of Brooklyn, New York, which is really cool. So we've introduced that program. We have other group classes. So we've had a garage band class, which is not, the garage band out there jamming, not necessarily, but the program that's available on, your iPad, which is a really powerful music production program. And most kids who, especially in Grinnell School District, do have iPads that they use at school. They have access to this tool, but they don't necessarily know how to use it. So we offer a class that gets them making music with the devices they already have. We have devices we can lend them if they're not in our school district. We've done a sound tech 101 class. We have jam sessions. We have pop-up choir where regardless of the experience you have, you can come in and learn a song. And we have musical theater sing-alongs. We have movie sing-alongs. There's a lot of stuff that we've done. And we're always looking for new ideas and ways to engage people in music.
Speaking of which, I thought I saw something online which kind of made me think of you. Are you doing something with the Muppets?
We are. The Muppet Christmas Carol, which I will put out there as potentially the best Christmas movie ever. We are doing a sing-along Muppet Christmas Carol event on this coming Saturday. Showtime's at 2:00 and our doors open at 1:30. And those have been really fun. Basically, we have a beautiful big screen and projector in our Mary and Austin Jones classroom here, which was the sponsorship from the Grinnell State Bank. It's that beautiful classroom. So we have this big, beautiful screen. We set up chairs and pillows on the floor for kids and popcorn and all the fun movie treats. We encourage costumes. They're not required. And whether or not you want to sing along, the idea is that we can sing along. I know I speak for myself, but many others, I go to a movie and if it's a musical, I have to be the person that's trying not to sing along at the movie theater.
You have to fight to not sing along.
Yeah, like Wicked, I was like, I really want to sing. So this is just designed, it's really casual. You can sing along if you want. We put the captions up on the screen so you can sing along to your favorite songs in an environment that encourages that and we just have a lot of fun. So whether or not you want to sing or you just want to watch the movie with friends, it's just a great fun event. Well,
Erin, you and I are kindred spirits. I was raised in community theater.
Yeah.
And I love the sound of music. I was in the play Oklahoma. I love all of those. Mary Poppins. In fact, I was so excited last Saturday because Dick Van Dyke celebrated his 100th birthday.
He did.
And I was an extra in the movie Cold Turkey when I was 10 years old. That was filmed in Winterset and Greenfield.
That's impressive.
My grandparents were from Winterset, and my sister was also an extra, and I met Dick Van Dyke.
Oh, no way.
And got
That's
pictures
so cool.
taken with him, and he was the nicest guy you'd ever want to know. And, of course, he was the chimney sweep in Mary Poppins, and it's just, God love him.
Well, now I'm thinking we need to do a Mary Poppins sing-along, but we did do Sound of Music last Christmas.
Oh, did you really?
Yes,
oh,
yeah.
Well.
This year we were like, let's go with more movies that like younger audiences, kids. People were like, I love The Sound of Music, but for my 8-year-old, it's 3 hours and they think it's boring.
Yeah.
So we tried this year to do something a little more family friendly. But
I had the best mom you could ever ask for, but at one time in my life, I wanted Julie Andrews to be my mom.
I mean, who didn't?
Yeah. I mean, what can I say? So this is great that you make learning so fun, because that's important, because, it can, as a kid, you can get bored real easily.
Absolutely.
So that's very, very important.
And one-on-one music lessons aren't the right fit for every child. And I think that's really important. And we talk a lot in my role as director. I talk to parents a lot about maybe that piano lesson wasn't the right fit for your kid, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't do music, or they don't want to do music, or they shouldn't try something else. And so that's what we're really trying to do is meet people where they're at with music. And I keep talking about children, but we teach adults too. We have lots of adults taking private lessons. Our drop-in programs like the pop-up choir and musical theater sing-alongs are geared towards adults. But music lessons aren't necessarily and shouldn't necessarily be about getting into Juilliard, right? Sure, if somebody comes to us and says, college auditions is my path, we can find them the right teacher and try to help them along that track. But for most of us, it's all about music as a lifelong skill and as something that builds community. So, I mean, it's business speak, but participatory and lifelong are two of the words that we use a lot. Music that is made to be participated in and not just listened to by other folks.
Right.
And educating in such a way that these skills are lifelong, because music can be such a lifelong joy.
Well, and I guess if I were interested in anything, it would be the singing lessons. Excuse me. Because I miss being in a choir. And I remember my senior year, the last time I sang in a choir was my graduation ceremony in high school. And I got to tell you, I was emotional about it, because I knew it was the last time I was going to be singing, and probably singing in a choir. And maybe I should get back into my church choir.
I was going to say, I got to give a shout out. There's tons of church choirs in the area, as well as the Grinnell Oratorio Society, which is a campus program that brings together community members and students. And John Romreim, who's the conductor of that, brilliant. He's on our board of directors. I personally believe it's never too late. Join a choir. I mean, it's again, great. We have the Grinnell Children's Choir, and the pop-up choir is designed for folks who maybe aren't either maybe haven't sung for a long time, or who don't have let's be honest, we're all so busy. Maybe people don't have the time or commitment to do a weekly choir rehearsal, but once a month can drop in and we learn a song in one night. Yeah.
Well, I always joked when I was on the radio that they always wanted me to sing tenor, 10 or 12 miles away, or solo. They couldn't hear me. But actually, I do sing tenor. In fact, it took a long time for my voice to change. And when I was in junior high, I was the last boy to get out of the alto section. And wanting to be in radio, I wanted my voice to change and become deep, but this is the voice God gave me.
Every choir director on earth is looking for more tenors, Jamie.
Is that right?
I don't know a single choir director who wouldn't take some more tenors.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, good. I'll have to remember that.
Tenors.
Because I saw your teachers and I thought, maybe I'll look into some of those singing lessons.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Winterset. Jolene Jorgensen, who's our other voice teacher here, actually had a studio in Winterset for 20 years or something. She taught there, and she moved to Grinnell area, I guess, sometime during the pandemic. And
is that right?
She and I met a couple years ago. She said, I was out at the wonderful newcomers event that the Grinnell Chamber of Commerce does. And she was working at the Optimist Club table, and I had the Grinnell School of Music table. She said, "Oh, there's a music school." And I said, "Well, we're just opening, actually." And she goes, "Well, I'm a voice teacher."
Oh, neat.
So,
neat.
It's amazing
how... Exactly. Do the scales up and down. And
how many of our, these people, these connections, they just come. Everybody, very few people, if you say, "Do you like music?" say no.
Yeah.
They might say, "Oh, I can't do it."
One of the things that discouraged me in high school was I had a music teacher, and it actually he turned out to be a good music teacher, but he scared me because, and God rest his soul, he's passed away. And people who graduated with me and were in choir know who I'm talking about, so I'm not going to mention his name. But he said, half your grade is going to be based on how well you can read music. Erin, I can't read a note of music. And from what I understand, the Beatles couldn't read music. I don't know whether that's true or not, but
I think the problem is, and I hear stories like this a lot, or, people that were told, well, you should stand in the back because you sound bad. But we don't give, we don't give a 4-year-old a baseball bat and expect them to hit a home run in a stadium. We give them a tee. We teach them how to swing. And I use that analogy for folks because we have this, I think as a society, we've come to think that music is this God-given talent. And certainly, I mean, not everyone can swim like Michael Phelps. Not everyone can sing like, Taylor Swift or Idina Menzel or whoever your singers are. But everyone has the capacity to learn.
Yeah.
And it is a skill and it does need to be taught. And so, our public school music teachers, I think, are the most amazing and underappreciated people.
Sure.
Some of them, they are doing their absolute best to provide this foundational skill in programs that are increasingly taking up less and less curricular time, unfortunately.
Sure.
And so our goal here is to support that and
Right.
to meet people where they're at. Not everyone learns the same too. So despite teachers' best efforts, I have students who have come to me maybe with a learning disability, for example, in their sophomore year of high school, and they've been in band and they've been in honor band, and they've come to me and they actually, in lessons, it becomes clear that they actually really aren't understanding what they're doing. They're not really reading music. They're playing by ear, or they're, and the point being, reading music is it's a tool that makes learning music a lot easier in some ways, and it makes making music in a group a lot easier because it gives you a common language.
So let me tell
But
you,
you can make music without reading music.
let me tell you what happened with my music teacher. Okay, so we had to do a music test every year, one-on-one with our music teacher. So he held up the music to me and he said, "Okay, sing this." Couldn't sing it because I couldn't read the music. So I was very discouraged with that because of that, and I thought I was going to get a bad grade for chorus. So I went down to the guidance counselor and I said, "I've got to drop chorus because I can't read this, and half my grade is going to be based on chorus." She said, "Okay." So I went back to whatever my class was, history or social studies or whatever the case would be. So my music teacher came and got me, and he called me up to his office and he said, "Mr. Grout, do you think I would really fail you because you can't read music?" And I said, "Well,
You said you would."
You said. And he said, "We'll work something out." So what he did was very brilliant. You see, here's the deal, Erin. I'm going to talk about myself a little bit. I don't want to. I don't want to dominate this interview and talk about myself. We'll get back to Grinnell School of Music in just a moment. But my mom, I knew I wanted to be in radio from a very young age, 7 or 8 years old. And I played radio in my house. And my mom could hear me singing along to the songs right on pitch. So I had problems with math when I was a kid. So she brought me these records where the guy was singing 2 + 2 is 4, 4 + 4 is 8. And I would sing along to the math songs. He put my music teacher put me between two tenors who could read music. I would hear that and I would be able to sing perfectly because it would be in stereo in both ears, and we became very powerful in the tenor section. It was a brilliant thing on the part of my music teacher. So enough with that.
But I really I think that is brilliant, and I want to reiterate that everyone can make music, and it's so sad to me when people say, "Well, I never did it because of this or that or the other thing," because I don't hear very many people that say, "Man, I regret staying in piano lessons," or "I regret staying in choir." You hear a lot of, "Wow, I regret quitting that. I regret that I didn't continue that."
Yeah.
And so very few people regret staying with music.
It's like you said, it's never too late.
It's never too late. Absolutely not. We have students, our youngest student ever, I just think this is really fun. Our youngest student ever in music together was 5 days old.
Oh, 5 days old.
5 days old. She came with her big sister, who was a toddler and had been doing music together for a while. And it was so amazing because mom and dad and big sister came 1 week, and mom was very pregnant. And the next week they came to class with their baby in arms. And we have these amazing pictures of
sweet.
Big sister, doing her thing in her music class, and dad holding the tiny little newborn. I mean, you're never too young. You're never too old.
Sure.
We have students. I won't give away our oldest students' ages, but we have students who are well into retirement age who come here. And certainly in our drop-in programs, we've had students that are well into their 90s.
So if someone listening wants to become a student of the Grinnell
Mhm.
School of Music, how can they do that, Erin?
They can look on our website. They can contact me. I will say I'm the one and only administrative employee here. So sometimes it takes me a few days to get back to you, but I will.
And
Leave us a
trust me, folks,
voicemail.
she's busy. I witnessed it this afternoon.
Yeah, it's there's never a dull moment around here. But yeah, give us a call, give us an email. Director at grinnellschoolofmusic.org will get you to me. Grinnellschoolofmusic.org is our website. You can look at our programs. And usually what happens is we have a conversation about what kind of thing you're interested in. Are you interested in private lessons, or is coming to one of our pop-up classes more your speed at this point? Or is it something else? We are still new. We are looking for ways to engage people, and I don't have all the ideas. I would really love more. If there's a way that you think that we can creatively bring more music to the community, not saying I'll be able to do everything, but I would love to hear people's thoughts.
Are you looking for more teachers, Erin?
We are, yeah.
Okay, and if somebody wants to
Especially
become a
piano,
teacher?
absolutely. We are always looking to expand. One part of our mission, I mentioned accessibility and both financial and rural accessibility for students, but it's also to create more professional opportunities for musicians to work in our communities. We believe wholeheartedly that professional artists bring life to communities. And it's hard sometimes for professional artists, whether they're musicians or actors or visual artists or dancers, to make a living in our small communities. So we want to help that happen because, we need you here. We need
Sure.
more artists and musicians to be part of our communities.
Okay.
So yeah, absolutely.
And how can they contact you?
There's actually on our website also, if you look under the About menu, you'll see Teach for Us. There's some information about what it means to be a teacher here. And/or you can email me and call me.
Okay, and if people want to contribute, because you are a nonprofit,
Absolutely.
if they want to support you, how can they do that?
Again, website, there is a donate button. You can write a check to Grinnell School of Music. We do accept gifts of stock. We do accept, we have a fund at the Greater Powesheik Community Foundation. Basically, you name it, there's a way to get it to us.
Okay.
And the vast majority of that support is going at this point to enable our pay what you can policy. So,
Right.
Every gift really makes it possible for us to keep doing what we're doing and to grow our programs, and also to make sure that money is never a reason why someone can't be involved in music, whether that's instrument rental or lesson fees or whatever the case may be. We want to help make it happen.
It sounds like you are off to a great start, Erin.
Thanks so much, Jamie. It's a pretty amazing thing to see how the community has rallied around this, and
Yeah.
we're just thrilled to be here.
Well, mad props and kudos to
Thank
you
you
and
so
your
much.
crew here. Erin Bustin, Executive Director of the Grinnell School of Music. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Out and About with Jamie Grout. Until next time, out is out. See ya.